On this episode, we're breaking down the biggest Disney planning mistakes you can make before your trip and how to avoid them so you can set yourself up for the best vacation possible. Today's April 21st, 2026, and this is episode 865 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys.
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, get the latest theme park news, as well as live streams from the parks and resorts, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
Well, hi everyone. This is an episode.
Makes me laugh every time because I just think
Bethany?
Bethany, yeah.
Hello everyone.
You have to say it. I should say it. But anyway, sorry, continue. That just pops in my head. I was messaging back and forth with my buddy Brian on Twitter earlier, and he brought something up, and then I was like, oh, whenever I hear of that, I think of this movie. And then he said something else, and I was like, whenever I hear of that, I think of this movie. And I was like, I just have too many movies.
You have a lot of movies
in my brain.
Well,
Yeah.
Anyways, y'all are listening to this, and we are on the cruise.
I know. We're having so much fun.
We are.
We hope. We believe. I know we are.
Yeah, but we're, it's a few days. It's actually Friday for us, and I have a few days of work, and then I'm really excited because the countdown on our Disney Destiny cruise is super cute because it counts down the days and the hours. Mm-hmm. So on Sunday, it will say 0 days, which we're driving down, but it'll say like 19 hours or something like that, which I'm super excited. So I'm super excited on the day of it saying 0 days, we are driving to Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
So anyways, and with all this being said, we have been doing lots of planning, which is what we are going to talk about today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about planning. These next couple episodes will be kind of tips and tricks for planning, not only first for your Walt Disney World vacation, and most of these will go, honestly, with Disneyland, with any of the international parks. These things are pretty universal.
I feel like it's just universal, period, on anything, really.
Some of these you could be planning your beach trip this summer.
100%.
Some of these work, but so the next two episodes we're going to talk about before the trip planning mistakes that people make for their Walt Disney World or park and resort type trips. Next episode will be mistakes we don't want you to make during the actual trip, and then we're going to follow that up with our 15 tips for Disney Cruise Line, which we are planning to record from our veranda or top deck or a hot tub or something. I don't know. But we're going to record
Not a hot tub.
We're going to record it on the Disney Destiny.
How would you do that?
Trust me, I could probably clip one to my chest hair.
Ew.
I wear a swim shirt because
I do not.
I know.
So where would I put mine?
You're still wearing a top.
I understand that, but mine's a little bikini top. So
Are we diving this far into where we would clip a lavalier mic in a hot tub? We're not really going to do that.
Okay.
The condensation and moisture, I'm afraid, wouldn't go well.
Yeah.
Plus, all the other people in the hot tub would just think we were insane. But anyway, so we're going to have a couple planning episodes for you. And then, of course, once we get off the Disney Destiny, we'll have several episodes outlining the ship, the entertainment, the food, and
merch.
all that kind of good stuff. The merch.
I'm so excited.
So today, though, we are focusing on the 10 planning mistakes we don't want you to make when you are getting ready for your trip to one of the theme parks. And let's start off with number one, Rhonda, which is obviously the most important.
Yeah, and it's not using a travel agent. It's super funny. I have clients ask me all the time, and literally somebody just asked me, talking about cruise stuff, and I was like, I don't know, ask Amy at MEI Travel.
Yeah.
I was like, we actually use her all the
Yes.
time. In fact, it was super funny. We got a message from her recently that we did not use her only one, and I say we didn't use her, excuse me, we do use her. We didn't have booked with her because we were just doing a day trip for the month of February, I believe it was.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. So, yeah, always use a travel agent.
Yeah. Yeah. This, and a lot of people don't realize that they are free for you to use, and so there is no additional cost. So this is not only, and that's the thing is it's not just about them finding you the best deal, which they will
100%.
because we know, especially, you look at Walt Disney World right now. Right. And I like to go in and just look because a lot of times we will base our time that we go down to Disney World on pricing of hotel rooms.
Correct.
So we might go, all right, when are we going in June? And I might just pre-look and say, let me just look at 3 different weekends and maybe see what works best. Availability, pricing, all that. Then I'll go to Amy and say, hey, here's what we're looking at and all that good stuff. But so I can go look, though, or you can go look, and you might see, especially if you live in Florida and you're an AP.
Yeah.
An AP rate.
Yep.
A Florida resident rate. A summer rate. A package rate, a magic this, magic that, Pixie does this, and Pixie does that. And so it can get very confusing.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't have the right thing selected, you might not be able to see it. Also, you have to realize that all of these different rates aren't just blanketed over everything.
Correct.
Some of them have restrictions on the dates that you can go, the days of the week that they're good. And then each of them is blocked out. So just because you sit there and think, oh, they have a new annual pass holder rate, that's not like there's a limited number on that. We'll say. Right.
I will say, though, my favorite part of using a travel agent is when you do not care and you're like, all right, we have a giant birthday. We're going to go for my dad's this past year 75th birthday, right? And we just go, all right, we're going to stay. And then we book it through Amy, and Amy calls us up and says, oh, they dropped rates and you just saved over $200. Wait, what? That is the best and most amazing.
Yeah. So unless you like spending a lot of time on the phone and you have to be on top of everything, which MEI Travel
100%.
is. So not only are you making sure you get the best pricing, but everything else is free expertise. Again, this is our third Disney cruise, for example, right?
Yep.
I would say we know some stuff about Walt Disney World. We're pretty knowledgeable about that. I don't know if we're experts.
Right.
I don't know if anybody ever can be. But, Disney Cruise Line, at any time we can message her and say, hey, Amy, got a quick question
Thank
for
God.
you.
Because we've asked her a lot.
We have, and she's the expert on that.
Yes.
So she's able to answer those questions. All of that is free. And it makes sense. And I understand there's a lot of people that get a joy out of booking things themselves or making plans themselves. And she doesn't take away the planning.
Nope.
Right? So if you do want to go in and maybe you love doing the research and you love comparing hotel prices and all that, then you can still go to her and hand it over and say, hey, here's what I need you to book. She's going to double check, make sure everything's good. Trust me, there have been times, Amy, I want you to book me this. And she comes back and goes, yeah, here was the rate. And I'm like, oh, well, that was actually less than I thought, than I found or whatever. But you're also supporting small business.
100%.
These are all independent travel advisors through MEI Travel. You're supporting small business, which we need more and more, I feel like, now than ever.
Yeah.
So
100%.
mainstmagic.com/travel. You can get your fee-free, no obligation quote today through Amy, through MEI Travel. That is the number one mistake we don't want you to make, is just thinking you should do it all on your own. All right, how about number 2? You got Amy, it's all booked. Now you're really getting into the planning phase of your trip.
And trying to do too much. Like, overpacking every day and having a checklist, and overpacking the day by not like packing clothes, but
Right.
your day where you're like, all right, we're rope dropping Magic Kingdom and we got to do this. And then you're like, all of a sudden it's just, and lunch is this and this is this. And then all of a sudden it's just, your adult people are melting down and it's just awful.
Yeah.
So,
It's thinking and planning way too much. And we'll talk about additional reasons that you don't want to do that when we get to the next episode, which is what happens during your trip. Mm-hmm. But spoiler alert, is not going to go as planned, right?
Oh,
it is
100%.
And I can tell you right now, as somebody who overplanned for years and years, and somebody who grew up with a father that overplanned, you know, you can really overpack it. You want to look at when you're planning the trip, and you know, we've talked about it so many times. Don't have a checklist of things you have to do to make the trip a success.
Correct.
Right? And when you start planning for this, don't think so much about how much you're going to do. Think more about who you're going to do it with, the memories you're going to make, you know, look, in the end, if we want to go back and compare our best memories of Disney, often, other than maybe it's like an opening day or a first time the girls rode Rise of Resistance or something like that, there's not a lot of them that have to do with the things we did. It's the time we spent.
Oh, 100%.
You know, it's simply doing something like, I mean, I can remember so clearly when they had Meisner's Lounge during Christmas time, and we had the Pluto popcorn bucket. Or Kaylin was wearing the full Christmas onesie, and we saw them doing the fairy tale wedding with Cinderella carriage and all right out there at Grand Flow. Like, none of that was ever talked about or planned ahead of time.
True.
And it's one of my favorite memories.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't even tell you what else we did on that trip. I can't tell you what we rode. I can't tell you what we ate.
I can tell you where we stayed.
Where did we stayed at?
All Star.
Yes, we did.
And it was movies.
Because we stayed in the 101 Dalmatians.
Correct. Good job.
Another one. I just have to bring this up because I know Lucy's listening. Do you remember when we realized that there are literally 101 Dalmatians?
Because she pointed it out, didn't she?
She pointed it out, and then we went and we counted them on all the buildings. And then you have, what's her name? Pongo? Isn't that one of them? I'm not a big 101 Dalmatians.
Pongo, I believe, is the dad.
Is the dad. But you remember they're sitting where the TV is, right? Those count within the 101.
No, I think Pongo's. I don't know.
Is it one of the kids?
I don't remember.
Puppies? But anyway, there's like 99 on the buildings, and then I believe there's 2 or something sitting out by the TV.
Yes, there
which
is.
Make the 101.
Yeah. Lucky one of them's Lucky. Yeah. That's a kid. I think Pongo and
we'll save it for the 101 Dalmatians episode. But I mean, it's just, you know, there's times like that. Oh, they definitely are yelling at their speakers. It's the times like that you're going to remember most.
100%.
You know, and we wouldn't have been able to experience those if it was just every second we have to be on a ride or eating food or seeing a show or whatever it may be. And what we say about the checklist is you need a checklist. We're going to talk about that a couple down here, right? Number 6. But you want a checklist of things you want to do. It shouldn't be things you need to do.
Correct.
To make it a successful trip.
Correct.
It bothers me personally. I know it shouldn't, but that's their life to live. When somebody comes back from Disney, say, "Well, how was it?" "Oh, it was horrible. We didn't get to ride Rise of the Resistance."
That's it.
Well, what about the rest of the trip? You
right.
know? Yeah, but we didn't get to. It broke down. No, listen, man. Like,
right.
You're telling me that one thing is what you're bringing back.
Right.
It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 3. And I know Rhonda's got a very good point on this one she wants to bring up.
Booking the wrong resort for your style. You know, picking based on your price or your hype, instead of transportation or vibe or convenience, which is off property. Like, that would be the price.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes we've tried to save a few bucks and it was, in our opinion, not worth it.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah. And then especially, like, this is where, you know, booking the wrong resort, you know, like, in my opinion, too, like, you got to take in consideration, do you have children that are going to take naps, that you're going to take, like where you're going to go back
Mm-hmm.
to the hotel, and then maybe you're going to go back to the hotel, but then you have a like late lunch, early dinner at this certain time, and you need to get back to this place,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think, and this makes sense because where you stay can be very, very important. It definitely can be. But
100%.
I don't think you necessarily pick your resort first and then build your plans around your resort. I think you build your plans and then you kind of pick your resort around that.
Yeah, I agree.
If you have the younger kids and you're going to spend
100%.
Multiple days during your week-long trip at Magic Kingdom, you may want to focus on the monorail resorts more. If you know that you're going for an entire weekend to watch 6 Blue October shows, you might want to look at the Skyliner resort. So you want to look at what you're doing first and then kind of pick one.
Yeah.
Your resort. Another thing is, if you come to us and you just say, man, what's the best resort at Disney? And we go, oh, it's the Polynesian. You go, cool, I'm booking that. Don't. That might
Why?
not be.
I'm just kidding.
That might not be the best resort for you for many reasons. One, you may decide
I'm like,
that,
give me 5.
You might be spending a lot of time at Animal Kingdom and Hollywood. Like, just say those are the parks you want to do, right? Okay. It is going to be an expensive resort. So you just automatically assume, you don't even price out you don't have Amy price out a moderate or some other deluxes or even a value. So all of a sudden your price is like, there's things you need to think of based on that.
Yeah.
Or simply you do plan to be in the parks all day long.
Yeah.
Every day you're there. I don't know that you book a deluxe and spend the extra money.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? So I think that can be an issue. So you really just think, and we have a lot of episodes you can go back and we tell you how to pick the right
100%.
resort. It also depends on, and that's the thing, when people do come up and say, well, what resort is the best? Which one should I stay at? I got about 18 follow-up questions first, right?
Right.
Well, who's going? How many people is that?
Right.
What are their ages?
Right.
Have you ever been before?
Right.
What parks do you want to go to? What is your style? Do you need those afternoon naps? Do you want a pool day? Do you want to spend a time at the pool because it's nicer?
Right.
Do you want to, there's so many follow-up questions.
Yes, there is.
You can't just ask somebody what's the best resort at Disney and get an answer that
right.
is going to fit.
Because you might tell them what you think, and then they'll stay there.
Right.
And be like, no, it's not. It was awful. We didn't like it at all.
That.
Yes.
We have,
Yep.
friends and neighbors that were Pop Century through and through.
100%.
And that worked the best for them.
Yeah.
They heard us talk about Coronado over and over.
Yeah.
They stayed once and were like, yeah, we'll stick with Pop Century.
Yeah. They did not like it,
No,
which we were
they
like,
did not.
what? But
and for many reasons.
we understood it
Right.
when they explained
Yes.
everything.
And that's when we realized,
Wow.
yeah, our favorite resort isn't everybody's.
Correct.
The same way that their favorite resort isn't ours. So think
Correct.
about that. All right. I think that leads really well into
Yes.
number 4.
And I almost grouped them together. I feel like 3, 4, and 6 could be almost grouped. Well, 2, 3, 4, and 6 can be grouped together, but
100%.
4 is ignoring transportation logistics.
Yeah.
Not really realizing how much Skyliner, monorail, or buses impact your day.
Yeah, especially when it comes down to buses.
Yep.
What is Disney's rule of thumb?
Takes 90 minutes to get somewhere, and sometimes, and the reason they say that is because, sure, sometimes you're like, it takes 90 minutes, we got to do this, and
Right.
then you're there in 30.
Yep.
But there are the times where it not only takes 90, but you could be real pushing it
Yes,
and a
you
little
could.
longer.
Yep.
So-
especially if you have to use more than one mode
Yep.
of transportation,
Yep.
for example. But simple fact is you could be at Magic Kingdom and you have a late dining reservation at Whispering Canyon at Wilderness Lodge, just say. In your mind, you're thinking,
It's just a boat ride
all I got to
away.
do is hop on a boat, right? It's not going to be that bad. That's not taking me 90 minutes. And a lot of times you're right. It's not.
Correct.
But it could.
Yes.
You can get down in that boat line. Everybody else had the same idea. Next thing you know, you're waiting 2 or 3 boats, right? That puts you 15, 20 minutes. The boat, you have to think about it taking that amount of time to get anywhere. And like I said, if you're using
Right.
multiple modes of transportation, 3 Bridges is open till midnight, right?
Right.
And you're thinking, we're going to close down Magic Kingdom that night, which closes at 11. We'll get on over to 3 Bridges in time to grab a little late night snack. you're going to be cutting it very close when you're trying to get over there, right?
100%.
Because from there, you are going on a bus, and you're maybe going on a bus right to Coronado Springs, but you're also looking at the end of the night, and while buses typically do run on that 15, 20-minute schedule, not all the time.
Right.
You could be waiting at Magic Kingdom right around close of the park after Happily Ever After lets out, right? And you got to, again, wait for the second, third bus. Then you got to get over there. They drop you off at multiple spots. You haven't been there. You're like, what spot do I get off at? Then you got to walk halfway across Coronado to get to Three Bridges. So you have to think about that.
Yeah.
Also, I want to talk about it on the opposite end and about picking your right resort. Because if you are going to see a festival weekend and you're spending 2 or 3 days in Epcot, then you want to be on the Skyliner route if you can.
Yeah.
So it works in your favor the opposite way because it's probably not going to take you 90 minutes.
Right.
So you don't all of a sudden want to be staying at a property that's way across the other side of Disney World.
Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Right. You might not want to be staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge if you're going to spend a whole weekend at Epcot.
Right.
Because it is going to take you that much longer to get back and forth.
Yes.
Okay, number 5.
Is not understanding lightning lane strategy, going in blind and wasting time and money.
Yeah.
That's where you get a Jeremy.
Yeah, and here's the thing too.
I would be the one going in blind. I would be, if Jeremy was like, here, plan us and do lightning lanes. I would have, honestly, I would probably say I would have no idea, but I'm like, let me be 1,000% honest. And I'd probably have somewhat of an idea, but I still wouldn't have the right enough.
You would once you got in there. Like if you went to book like I think if somebody said, Rhonda, give me a lightning lane strategy, you'd have some issue just spurting one out. But if I said, Rhonda, book our lightning lanes at the 7 days, for on property, and you actually went in, you'd go, oh, it makes sense that I should do this, this, and this. But, and we're not going to go into big lightning lane strategies here. There are a lot of wonderful sites out there. Like All Ears does a great job with lightning lane videos. So you can go check them out. Again, there are resources you can get through MEI Travel, right? They have wonderful, go make sure you're following MEI Travel on all the social channels.
Yeah.
They have great content on there. But you want to know what to do. You want to know about how you can stack them. You want to know the rules behind it. You want to know which ones go first.
Right.
If you're like, man, we really want to ride Slinky Dog Dash the day we do Hollywood Studios, and you aren't prepared to make sure that is the first thing you do, and then you got to figure out, and you might park hop, so you got to figure out, study it.
Yeah.
Look at the resources that are available. You can obviously always hit us up on social and we'll give our best. But even if I went and said, here's the lightning lane strategy you should do, it can only be tips.
Right.
Because it is so volatile when you get in there.
Oh, yeah.
That times change so quickly.
100%. And all day, right? You've
all
told me,
long.
I swear you've told me, and correct me if I'm wrong, like you've gone back in to look because they sometimes drop, you call it,
yes.
times?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
And for example, the first ones that you book, those times that you get aren't set in stone.
Right.
If you're off property and you're on property, and you're booking 7 days in advance, you can be checking every day on modifying those.
Yeah.
Because other availability will come up, and like Rhonda just said, even to the day of. So
just educate yourself with it.
Educate
is
yourself
the
on how to use
major
lightning
thing.
lanes.
Exactly, because you are spending the money and you don't want to waste the time or your money.
And on the reverse side, again, kind of like with the transportation part, if you educate yourself, you may find out you don't need them or you don't need certain ones,
Correct.
You may go, well, you know what? We can kind of figure out a strategy to do Hollywood Studios or Epcot or Animal Kingdom. I mean, like Magic Kingdom, get lightning lane. But, you might figure out, or you might say, you know what? We don't have to spend the $17 a person or whatever the cost is now on a Cosmic Rewind lightning lane because we're going to rope drop it one day.
Correct.
So you want to kind of know how it works
100%.
to also know whether you actually need it or not.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to number 7.
6.
Number 6 first, though. Then we'll go to number 7. We like to do these in order sometimes.
We're going to plan without park priorities, not deciding your must-dos ahead of time.
Yeah, and this, we're not contradicting number 2, which is trying to do too much and not having that checklist.
Right. you said it best, which was Sean said.
Yeah, Sean, our wonderful friend Sean from But Mostly Disney. Make sure you check him out. I remember him saying, one of the things they like to do with each of their kids, who are all adults now, but they still do it, which I think is wonderful. Their adult children still love Disney.
I know.
Get back to that at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, he's basically, he says, he'll ask them like, what is the one thing you want to do today?
Yeah.
And that is doable.
Yeah.
100%. It's not saying, hey, what are the 20 things we need to do at Magic Kingdom?
Right.
And if we don't cross off all 20,
correct,
I'm going to go home and be and moan about them. You know what I mean? Because we didn't do 2, because we didn't ride Tron. But if you got the 3 children and you're going to Magic Kingdom and one of them says, all I want to do today is ride Tron.
Right.
You can make it happen, right?
100%.
And the other one says, all I really want is corn dog nuggets from Casey's Corner. Make it happen.
Right.
And the third
Haunted
one,
Mansion.
Yeah, third one just wants to ride. Then make those 3 things happen.
Yep.
That is doable. And then the rest of the day, you kind of have that list and you have that plan. But if those things don't happen, it's okay.
Right.
And so I think just you still do need those types of priorities because you still do need to plan.
Yeah, because then that kind of, to me, sets your day where you're like, okay, we have 4 things that we would like to do with this family of 4.
Yeah.
That is very doable.
Yeah.
And then in between, you kind of
fill in the
spaces with other things like, what about this or what about that? Let's go ride the People Mover. I don't know, just things that, you can put, like riding Tron, let's, rope drop, or let's finish it off after Happily Ever After, run over there. After Tinkerbell Flies, that's when
that's when you head over there.
Little tip on that. But yeah, and then you have that on that time, and then you're like, well, let's ride Haunted Mansion, and you kind of almost rope drop it.
Yep.
/ oh, let's rope drop. I want to get Starbucks, and then we'll kind of head over that way or what. So yeah, it's just
yeah. I mean, you have to have the priorities to accomplish those things. All right, now
we can move to 7.
Number 7. All right, let's do number 7.
Why is this like a good one you wanted?
No, I'm just really bad at keeping track of my own thoughts.
Yeah, this is always check so number 7, is ignoring crowd calendars and seasonalities, and basically showing up at peak chaos without realizing it. Check when dance people are supposed to be there, and all of the ESPN people.
Yeah, anything that's happening at Wide World of Sports.
Yeah.
You want to know that's happening. You
just to be aware of it. It's fine if you go.
Yeah.
But you need to be aware of it because it can be a lot. We love it.
Right.
It's neat to see the kids and stuff, but it also can be
right. But if it was our first trip, it was our once-a-year trip, we would not love it so much.
Probably.
But going back to even do you need the lightning lanes or not? Well, during that time, probably
probably do.
If you are from northern states or you're from overseas, you might not realize that our spring breaks in Florida tend to be earlier than yours.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, hey, we're going to go 3 weeks before our spring break up here in the Northeast. That'll be the perfect time.
Nope.
Guess what? It's our spring break.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you show up, and then I got to see 80 people post on Twitter every day. Look at these wait times. Yeah, no joke. It's spring break. It happens every year.
Yeah.
Obviously the holidays, but certain parts of the holidays, look at some of the available crowd calendars out there. Traditionally, the first week of December, right after Thanksgiving, can be a good time to go. Mm-hmm. So you also want to know the low points if you can plan around it.
Mother's Day is usually a low point.
Yeah, I mean,
usually.
I know now we're not sure how many low points
I don't know anymore.
Are. But you just want to be prepared.
Yes.
That will help in your planning. That will help you, like I said, do you need lightning lanes or not?
100%.
Do you need to really nail down your dining reservations?
Right.
Things like that you just want to be aware of.
Because especially too, if even if you're an annual pass holder or something, and you're just well, we're gonna go for the day, and we just show up, that's great. But also, what kind of can be not realizing it, you show up, and then you don't really get to do much,
Right.
like, and if that's okay, then that's okay.
Yes.
But sometimes it's not. Some people are like, well, then why did we come?
Right.
And I'm like, well,
we went recently for a very specific reason, which was to have lunch at Crystal Palace.
yeah.
But we always think, hey, while we're here, we'll hop
That's
on
right.
a couple rides.
Oof.
But no, because it was crazy busy.
It was.
But we knew it would be, so we didn't set any expectations
Correct.
that we would be able to ride stuff.
Right.
Number 8.
Oh, good
I
job.
think this is very important.
Yes, and this is not building in a buffer day or downtime. Planning every day as a park day with no room to rest. Explore your resort and recover from being in a park all day.
Yes. What's our standard recommendation?
What do you say? 2 days on, 1 day off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 days on of parks, 1 day off to rest and recover. I personally, if you're an AP or you've purchased, for the water parks, I personally consider that still a rest day.
The water parks?
Yeah. Because you do have some time, a lot of downtime there. You're showing up on Sunday, you're leaving on Saturday, you hit parks Monday, Tuesday, you have a rest day on Wednesday, you hit parks Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
If you were here from overseas and you're doing your whole 2 weeks or whatever, then I think you really, really need it.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
you don't want to come back from your vacation and need a vacation.
Yeah.
2 park days is a lot in a row.
Oh, 100%, especially depending on those park days.
Yes.
Like, are you going to rope drop
Yeah.
and then close it out? And if it's something like Magic Kingdom, Magic Kingdom's open sometimes from 8, 9, one of those.
Till 11 at night.
Till 11 at night.
And if you're doing a party,
Like,
if
holy
you've got a party or an
moly.
after hours, and that's the other thing too, is plan when you're doing this planning, let's just say it's during the holidays, right?
Yeah.
And on Monday, your main park is Epcot, and you decide, or you're going to do the Halloween party or Christmas party that week. Mm-hmm. Don't do it on Monday.
Right.
And then have a park day the next day. Do Monday is maybe your Epcot day. Tuesday is your whatever, and then party day, party night. You're going to be out till 1 a.m. Wednesday's your rest day. Mm-hmm. If you do that party day on Monday and you're out till 1 a.m, nobody's going to be happy with you waking up on Tuesday having to go hit parks again.
Yeah.
So make sure you buffer that in. And again, not only for rest, but like Rhonda said, to explore your resort.
Especially if you're staying at a good resort.
Yeah, if you're staying at the Poly.
100%.
You want to have some time to enjoy the Poly.
Absolutely. Because in my opinion, I've always said, like, if you want to stay on property, period, great. And then sometimes people are like, well, I'm not staying at a value because of the beds or whatever, the room, whatever. But again, I feel like why spend all that money if you're just going to be in parks all the time? You want to enjoy the resort. It's so nice.
Agreed. Yeah.
So,
all right. Numero 90.
not budgeting realistically. Forgetting about snacks.
Raising my hand because we do this all the time. This is a do as we say, not as we do. Number.
I know, which I'm really did we budget realistically for the cruise?
For the cruise, probably not. We're probably already out of money, and this is only Tuesday when this comes out.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm so excited for merch.
I know.
We
Speaking of that,
we'll have a merch list because I have very specifics. Again,
see, and I
talk
don't.
about priorities,
which is super funny
because
because I don't.
Priorities on merch.
My priority. All right, let's name them. I probably have not even 5. I bet you have way more.
Oh, you just said you don't have any, and then you said 5.
No. I said I bet you have more than 5. I have 2.
I want a Destiny Spirit jersey. I want a Lighthouse Point Spirit jersey. That's really, those are the two, those are my priorities. If I don't come back, I'm going to say it was the worst cruise ever. If I don't come back, sporting jerseys, man.
Well, at least you're not saying about the towel, little animal.
Well, because we know that it's been
our
sold
friends
out.
didn't get it.
So we're not 100% sure if we'll grab the little towel guy, but we'll try. I do want like a t-shirt.
Pandora,
Yes,
Destiny
you have to get your
Pandora,
Destiny Pandora.
Beads.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get those. And then I honestly, I don't care to have any merch from Destiny because it's my Pandora one.
Right.
I don't need a Spirit jersey or anything like that. If something jumps out at me, fine. I am very, very excited for the Lookout point.
Yeah.
All right. How is the whole, what do you call it? Lookout key?
Honestly, you're just throwing stuff at me right now. Let's get back to the episode.
Okay.
We'll talk
Anyways,
about these at our
those
planning.
are the two that I want for
Lighthouse
souvenirs.
Point and Lookout Key, I believe is what it's the full name.
But that's the two things I want. And I have I have a Castaway Key Spirit jersey that has all the holes, and I'm kind of hoping it might be similar. I'm super excited to see what they have. But I think those are the main two things that I want for like souvenirs and merch.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll see what we end up with. But again, yeah, we're not budgeting realistically is number 9, right? It's
right.
Not,
and we are trying. So, and then we're going to put it on, we've got money set aside to put on Disney gift cards, because let's be honest too, those don't run out. So if you do something, like you do budget, hopefully realistically.
Right.
But yeah, don't forget about snacks. But if you do forget about snacks and then you're like, oh crap, the day of, like, your kids are like wanting snacks and all this, and then the next day you're like, man, if we keep up this,
right,
then that's when you'd go to Vacation Grocery Delivery, have them bring in stuff for you from Publix or wherever, and then you have your snacks that you can bring into the park.
Yeah, have them in your park bag. When your kid wants a snack, hand those out. But you do want to set not only a daily budget. I have an idea for $1 million invention, by the way. It's called Quiet Ice.
What?
You and I have our Dutch Bros because we had our coffee and then we came back to record, and I can see each one of us every time we try to take a sip of it, we're trying to do it as slowly and carefully as possible so there's not a loud noise of ice clanging back and forth, but I'm pretty sure it's probably picking up anyway. So we invent something somehow called Quiet Ice. It keeps your drink cold, but it doesn't sound like this every time you go to drink.
That would be the ice probably that you have in your freezer that are fake, and you put it in your drink.
Like the plastic cube
yes.
ones? So you're saying this has already been done?
Probably.
All right, well, never mind. I no longer need investors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not only budgeting per day, but budgeting per category for that day.
Yeah.
Because if you just say, you know what, we're budgeting $300 a day. Okay. For what?
Right.
Because as soon as you do walk in and see that first Spirit jersey, well, guess what? $80-$90 of that
is already gone.
$300 budget's gone for the day. So you might want to say, all right, our daily food budget is this. Our daily merchandise souvenir button is this. Even break down the food one where it says our daily food budget is this. Within that, here's our meals if you're not doing something like the dining plan. Here's our snacks. Mm-hmm. Here's our specialty things. You want to think ahead of a time that a balloon costs X number of
$30.
$30. So you really do want to be prepared by breaking all that down the best you can.
Or round up. Like I might be rounding up. I don't know. I really don't know because I haven't asked for a balloon in a long time.
No, you definitely
it could
round
be
up.
32.
Yeah.
So then you say
Spirit
it's $35.
jersey's $100.
Correct.
Boom. You're going to have $10-$20 extra at some point if you do that. That's all bonus money. You don't want to under budget. And guess what? You can go out to Disney's website and you can look up the prices of food. I'm not saying you got to spend or you've got to plan out every single item of every meal you're eating, but it helps to not be surprised when you get there and you figure out that some places a burger is $22, right?
Right. 25
at a sit down. 22, 20. Yeah. So you might say, all right, you know what? When we go and we sit down at this restaurant, it's going to be about $25 a person for their entree. Let's just know that. That's $100 right there.
Yep.
Is your family the type that likes the alcoholic beverages, or you're the kids the type that need that specialty little lemonade with, whatever in it? Like, you have to think about that ahead of time. So
I think we did pretty good for the cruise because we totally we have our deposit for
we did we broke it into different banks. We literally
set aside.
Like, our first, second cruise, we went in, we're like, we've got this much money. Oh, we'll deposit on your next cruise to hold it and get that discount is $250. Oh.
No,
well, and
right.
Palo is and so like we have it set aside. We have our tips set aside. We have change set aside for room service and for luggage stuff. We have, we need to talk about the merch food situation, but all right, let's finish this off with number 10.
And that is copying someone else's itinerary exactly. What worked for them might not work for you or your group of people.
Again, you can come and ask Rhonda and I for a 3-day itinerary
100%.
on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Disney with a whole list of things you want to do, and trust me, we can give it to you. That works for Rhonda and I.
Right.
That might not work for you.
Right.
So I think while asking folks, here's the way I'd put it. When you go and you ask, your friends just got back from Disney, or even when you're talking to Amy, or you are talking to just say us, you don't want to say like, how should I do Hollywood Studios?
Right.
You might say, what is your experience with Hollywood Studios?
Right. Or you could ask, like, how did you do it?
Yeah.
And have these itineraries that these friends did, and maybe pick and pull from
Do it like a Rolodex almost.
Yeah.
You get info from a lot of different
100%.
places. And then you go, you know what? This will work for us.
Correct.
I really like the way that they spent their morning.
Correct.
They had a lightning lane for Slinky Dog Dash, but then they rope dropped Tower of Terror and the new Muppets roller coaster opening May 26th. I hope they'll do a soft opening because we will be there the 21st to 24th.
Ooh.
So I'd love to catch it if they do that.
That would be cool.
We'll go back. Either way, probably. But yeah, and then you go, I love the way they did that morning. But then I love the way over here they did their lunch. And over here, they took a break for their afternoon at the pool. And you kind of piece that together.
Or you just totally do our bus roulette thing and just do that.
And you let fate decide.
There you go.
I'd love to work one of
So
those
fun.
in the next either our May trip or
We could
our
probably-
June trip.
we
I'd
could
love to do
probably
a
do
bus
that.
roulette
Yeah.
day. Or I always ask them for the rules. Tay and Steph are good friends from Charleston. They do one with a deck of cards. You remember that they assign the deck of cards certain things, and then they pull those, and that makes their decision. And I've asked them their rules like 1,000 times, and I never actually remember them. So
We have
I
a
will
deck
hit
of
them up again
cards.
to
We have a
do
deck
that.
of cards. We should, I think, unless we throw them away. I started to say, if we had
What
one.
if we made our own?
I know, and wrote on them.
Ooh.
Like
We should do that. Let's make our
a
own.
Sharpie and then
That'd be
just
fun.
write. Yeah.
Or we could create an app that does it. Because I'm pretty sure AI can build you apps now in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
But that actually would be cool, is to have one set that way. The way that Tay and Steph do it, which I think is so cool, and
Yeah.
it's just fun.
Ours
But again,
is fun too.
oh no, I love bus roulette. Bus roulette's a blast as well. All right, those are our 10 tips.
Yeah.
The mistakes you don't want to make
Correct.
when planning your Disney World or beyond trip.
Yeah.
Next episode, we're going to talk about the mistakes not to make during your trip. So if you want to hear that, as well as our top 15 Disney Cruise Line tips coming up and our experience on the Disney Destiny, you got to go ahead and hit subscribe, and you get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Of course, both Rhonda and I and Dutch Bros would be very thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon. Why do you eat receipts, dog?
What? Do you need that?
No, but he just finds them.
How?
I don't know. Do you know how many receipts I've walked out there that have been half chewed by this guy? It's a mess, man.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.